Elvis.
Yeah. Whoa! BMore4Real.
Wednesday,
BMore4Real
y'all.
in the building, man. Be more.
Yup,
Be more
dang
for
you,
real.
dang you.
We are in the building, man. Glad to be with you guys, man. Another Wednesday, man. We live, we live each and every single Wednesday. Make sure y'all get your weekly dose of reality. I mean, y'all know how we do it by now. You already know the program. This is the realest conversation you ever gonna hear. So let's
And
go
it's
ahead
a
and clap it
Wednesday,
up for Be
y'all.
More
It's
for
a
Real.
Wednesday for Be More for Real. I am Uncle Wayne, y'all. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back.
Yep. And I'm your co-host, OMG Danny. It's only the realest conversations on the net. It's only the realest conversation on the internet. It's rated off for reality, of course. So make sure that you tune in accordingly. You know what I'm saying? It's not the conversation you used to. This conversation is made to deprogram you to what you've been programmed to. So
More
be more for
for
real.
real.
Be more for real. And as we digress, I guess let's go ahead and let's get right into be
We
more for real
almost get
moment.
into it, whether they like it or not. We get into it. It is Be More for Real because
Be
it's
more for real
another
moment.
Wednesday. But you know what? Wednesdays come so fast. It seems
Yeah,
like before you know it, we are right back
we be
again.
back rolling like it ain't nothing. Be more for real. We keep it locked with us each and every single Wednesday. Sometimes we might go live Tuesday, whatever, Friday, Saturday. It don't even matter. Make sure you hit that notification button so that you'll be notified each and every single time we post, upload, or even go live as we
And
doing
don't
right
forget
now.
to subscribe, y'all. For real, we do need you to subscribe.
Subscribe for real. So be more for real moment. Let's get into it. How you feeling, Uncle Wayne? How are
Hey,
you?
listen, I told you, when I'm here, I don't complain. I woke up, I got here, no complaining.
No complaints.
No
No
complaining, no
complaints.
complaining, no complaining.
And just like I like to say too, you know what I'm saying? Every day above ground is indeed a good one.
You
So
know what? If I tell everybody, if you live by that motto that you woke up, we will be a better place to live.
for sure, for
Just
sure.
think about
We
that.
gonna clap that
Just
up.
think about that.
We gonna clap that
'Cause
up.
listen, we wake up complaining. Most of us, we wake up with a reason to complain, especially when most of us don't have a blank. Think about that. Most of us can't get a blank. We start to complain straight off the bat.
For real
Our
though.
black folks in Baltimore.
For real though. How y'all feeling tonight? We hope everybody feeling good tonight. I wanted to do something else as well. Take the time out. My son's mother, the love of my life, the woman, you know what I'm saying?
So who again?
My son's mother, you like that one?
Wait a
Hey,
minute,
say,
wait a minute, wait a minute.
hey, look, my son's mother, her birthday tomorrow, so I want to be the first one to tell her happy birthday, let her know that, I love her, I care about her. I want to be the first one to tell you happy birthday. It's also my cousin's birthday tomorrow too. So happy birthday to y'all. Shout out to y'all for real. I'm gonna go ahead and clap that up as
Clap it
well.
up. I'm Uncle Wayne. I wanted to say another happy early birthday. It is very important.
It's
I
extremely
want to get into a little further too because I did get a chance to physically meet her at our event that we had that Uncle Wayne sponsored with the Real Explosion for the weekend. Tell us more about that because
yeah, Mr. Wayne.
yeah,
Yeah,
let's start this out.
man.
We really got to get
You
into
hit on
this.
you hit on several points, and what's crazy is there was several back to school events that we'll get to, but yeah, I was able to bring my family out to both of these events as well. You know what I'm saying? All of my sons was there. You know what I'm saying? And
I was so
so
impressed.
I was, yeah, I was overjoyed, of course, and I'm always happy and proud whenever I have those moments to spend with the family and all that stuff. It was just a great time. But I'm glad you even mentioned it. We did have those back to school events, man. We told y'all about those back to school events, right?
We put them up. We put
We
the
were
flyers
actually
up.
there. We were actually there. We were actually a part of the setup and everything like that. Real Explosion, you know, Be More for Real is brought to you by way of Real Explosion. If you didn't know, that's what the RE
Yep.
is for right here,
Yep.
Real Explosion.
We
So,
put it up there.
Real Explosion, they had a really big back to school event on Saturday,
Really big, really
and
big.
it was awesome. It had a live band, and they were awesome. They were great. The live band was phenomenal. Actually, they
I
were
mean, it was really, really nice. And I mean, and to see the children and the families that were there, I mean, it touched my heart. And Mr. Wayne, I'm telling you, he went up and beyond the call of duty, and to see that he does do this every year. And listen, I sit back in the background. I help with tremendously, but just to see we participated and to see this come to life.
yeah.
Listen, Fox 45 wasn't there for this because it was positive. And watch this. There was an altercation there, but there was a brother that handled the situation and diffused the whole situation. I mean, I was so impressed, but there was no cameras there to see the positivity on how he handled the situation because it's always negativity that's shown in our areas, but it's never the positivity shown.
Right.
But it was such a beautiful time. In order for us to be able to pull together, we have got to pull together more on times like this. That back to school event was something else. It just melt my heart. So Be More for Real are going to sponsor more and more events like that. More, listen, I guess what we doing, it was our first anniversary too
Right.
of
In a
back
way,
to
it
school
was.
events. Yeah,
In a way, it really was,
it
and
really was. It
we
was our
clap that up.
first anniversary.
And we love to give back to the community. We are
Absolutely.
always in the community. I don't think people really realize it. And we don't want the recognition for that. Eventually, we're gonna show video. Maybe next week we'll put up some video of the things and all the things that was given away. But shout out to Real Explosion. Shout out to Mr. Wayne for facilitating the whole
Absolutely.
entire event. I mean, like,
I had to say, we had to give it to him. And once again, listen, Mr. Wayne, hey, I bow down to another true leader in our community who don't get the respect. And I guess we give it to you. Thank you, Mr. Wayne, for giving back to the community for real.
yeah,
Be
we
more for
appreciate that.
real,
We
y'all.
appreciate that.
Be more for
Be more
real.
for real, man. Keep it locked with us. The
Be
realest conversation
more
on the net.
for real.
But also, as we were talking about those back to school events, man, it's ultra important to make sure that we can help facilitate these events. So often we are caught up in ourselves and what's going on in our personal lives that we think that we can't make
Most of
room
us caught up
or
in
help other
ourselves, yo.
people. You know what I'm saying? So like, you can help other people in ways where people in ways where you, excuse me, in ways where you do exceed in what you do. There are ways where people are lacking, you know what I'm saying? And things that you do have that people don't have, you know what I'm saying? It's all about getting the resources together because you never know what a person might have or might not have. And if we can all help each other like that, we can all help each other grow. And which by the way leads me to this weekend. I mean, it was action packed from the beginning because on Saturday there was the back to school event with Mr. Wayne, right? And then I had a chance
That's right.
to
Yeah.
DJ at
It continue with you.
a comedy event, and the comedy event was there. And shout out to my man Darius because he wanted to make sure that I was plugged in an event and everything like that. So shout out Darius. But on a Be More for Real level, it was like, okay, I DJ a little bit at Mr. Wayne event as well, the Real Explosion, the back to school event, and it's just so surreal to see these things come to pass. You know what I'm saying? Like, when you have a vision and you think you can do something, it's like it could be done. And I was able to do that, and I appreciate all praises to the Most High that, I was able to help with Mr. Wayne event that he basically did everything by herself. And then I was able to go to
Swain
that
had a
comedy event.
whole lot of equipment
That
too, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
Then you
All the
DJ
stage,
there.
the stage.
Then the family was there.
Yup,
Then you leave off with the family
yup, yup.
and the future wife.
Yeah, yeah. It's a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot. Step by step, day by day. You know what I'm saying? I'm ultra grateful. My family was there. It was just a lot, action packed. And another thing that happened over the weekend as well, I was able to attend the Ravens' first preseason game. Shout out to the Ravens. Should have wore the hat, but shout out to the Ravens. You know, we lost, but
Yeah, so you
we're good
shouting out
together.
to the Ravens, right?
Yeah, shout out to the
You
Ravens.
shouting out
We
to the
lost,
Ravens,
but
right?
shout out to the Ravens. Yeah,
Hey, listen,
they gonna be all right.
you always want BMore to be for real. Then the Ravens lost. We are still going to be more for real.
Right.
Here we go with that Ravens thing.
I mean, it's a preseason
They
game.
get paid too much money, so when they lose, they got to take the same thing that we give them when they win. Because if they won this weekend, we'd have been all on, oh, the Ravens, the Ravens, the Ravens. So when they lost, they got to feel that pain too.
Yeah.
They still getting that paycheck, right?
Well, see, I love.
Aren't they still getting that paycheck?
Yeah, they get
Okay,
money.
then.
What I love about what I love
Hey.
about the preseason is the game doesn't count. So this is the time to make the mistakes and figure out
The
where you
memento,
going wrong.
you know what I mean?
saying?
That spunk.
Just that time to figure out
Gotta
what's
be
going
pumped
on
up.
wrong. And another thing is Baltimore hasn't really been used to losing preseason games. I mean, we lost now 2 in the last I don't know 8-9 years.
But
We really
let me
don't
explain
lose
something to you.
preseason games
This
like
might
that.
be a good thing, though, because watch this. Because when they come out with all that spunk of winning preseason and getting in that kicking butt and get all the way down to the end and lose.
Yeah.
So maybe this time it's
Yeah.
in reverse. Maybe this time we'll carry it all the way across. So listen, think this time. Listen, I'm Uncle Wayne. I told you I'm 61. I've been in this a long time. Maybe we
Right.
need something different for a change.
Right.
So look, sit back and relax. We got a long ways to go.
We got a long way to go. Long way to go.
Long ways to go.
We I'm gonna say I'm proud that it's another football season. It's always like it's a long time coming around. Maybe like
I said, we got quite a few
like the school
Sundays and
season or
Mondays
something
to
like
go.
that. It's like it's a long time coming around, but football is back, and I'm ultra glad. And I'm definitely a Ravens fan. So we're gonna go ahead and clap it up for the Ravens
Hey,
and the O's too.
Because you cracked on my Raiders hat when we was out there too this weekend. That's why I was
I'm
on.
like, what in the world? The Raiders. I know a big Raiders fan. I know a couple
wearing
of them.
something else, got on a Raiders hat.
Yeah. And it'd be crazy because we be in Baltimore and I'd be like, yo, how y'all niggas like the Steelers and all them, especially the Steelers? Like you like the op team out of all teams, and you from Baltimore? That's crazy to me. Like that's real crazy to me. That's just on a BMore4Real level,
Hey, look, we be more for real all the way around.
all the way around. And we gonna go ahead and clap
All
it up.
the way around, y'all.
Clap it up.
So let me ask you something. You went to the comedy club. How was that? How was that? Because we did promote that a little bit. How was that? How did that turn out?
The comedy club was definitely good. It was definitely great. To see the turnout that they had, it was awesome. To see the support. I mean, we came out. When I say we, I mean us as black people. We came out. There was some white people in the crowd too. There was some old white people in the crowd, and I was happy to see that. And they enjoyed themselves, had a good time. So,
Were they able to crack on them?
they cracked on them.
Sure, they were in the crowd.
They cracked on them, but they had to also give them their props as well because one of the comedians had asked, he was like, "Me and my wife been married 10 years. How long you been married?" Somebody was like 20 years, and then somebody was like 50 years. And then when you look in the crowd, it was them. It was the white people. And it was old white people in the crowd. The lady was married for like 50 years. So I was like, dang, that's beautiful to see that that type of turnout. Everybody was cordial. It wasn't any type of. I mean, it was all good vibes everywhere. Really, it was all good vibes. They had a few jokes on the DJ. They had a few jokes on everybody. What and nobody spared.
You were DJing. What was on you?
I mean, I was DJing too. Yeah, so me and another person, my man Darius too. He didn't want to put me on, so that's why I said shout out my man Darius. He was the main DJ for the night, and I was, the DJ.
Oh, so they had several DJs of the night.
No, it was just two, man.
Oh, okay. I get it. I get it. I get
Yeah,
it.
yeah. So that was a cool event to see. It was cool to get to shake hands with some of them and rub elbows, and that's another be more for real moment as well too. You never my mother used to say it's not about what you know. Sometimes it's not about what you know, it's about who you know. I'm gonna repeat that again. She used to say, sometimes it's not about what you know, it's about who you know.
Be-
And that makes so much sense because sometimes, you can know as much as you can, but these people have control over a certain area. You know what I'm saying? They've dominated this field. And in order to get in, you gotta get in with me. You know what I'm saying? It's not like you can get in playing on the other side of the fence. You gotta you gotta get in with me. And so that's part of the networking. Whenever we out thinking that we can do things all by ourselves, we gotta remember like, no, it don't work like that. Teamwork makes the dream work. I think that's what they say. Teamwork makes the dream work. And the only way that teamwork is going to happen is if you have that network. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. Uh, and who said that? Oh, we had him on here, man. What was his name? We had somebody on here. WKYS. WKYS. Forgive me, my brother. DJ Aladdin was on here. DJ Aladdin was on here from WKYS 93.9, right? And he said something that he heard from somebody else. He said, "Your net worth is your network," and I was like, "Boom!" I was like, "That deserves a big explosion, a big applause because we don't understand the value that relationships have that you build with people. You know what I'm saying? The relationship a lot of times hold more value than the actual financial portion or obligation or contract between you. You know what I'm saying? Forget the compensation. Imagine if you sever that relationship, you will never get that compensation. So the relationship is actually more valuable than the compensation a lot of times. And we're gonna go
That's
ahead and clap
deep.
that
We
up.
need to clap that up. But see, us as older ones need to have taught you all. Remember teaching? We try to teach that to you all as older ones because the younger ones, y'all not being taught that. Y'all don't understand the relationship because the y'all younger ones are killing each other. Y'all don't understand how valuable the relationship is because y'all are now not valuing the relationship. Because remember we talked about this, if a fight we used to have, we have a disagreement, it was a fight. And then you get over it, and next thing you know, you're best friends. It's like now because you able to carry a gun when you in an argument, it's now you settle the disagreement with the gun. So you're going to kill each other. You don't get a chance to make up. It's over with. You have killed. You don't have a chance to regroup. It's over with. So you know what I mean? That relationship will never mend. You see, that's the thing. It's like what you just said. That's how we have to teach each other. Y'all don't get a chance to teach. That relationship will never be taught. You never teach. That's why our black our inner city blackness. That's why it's the way it is. You see, it's in chaos. You understand? Those relationships never mend. It's
Well, if
the
I could throw a little bone in there, I believe part of the reason why we experience such thing as a culture, and we might as well go ahead and shift over to the topic of the night as well. Let's go ahead
finish it out real quick. Finish that part out.
because this goes right along with the topic of the night. So I think our culture, um, it exemplifies what other cultures want to be, but they don't never want to be that as an image. Now I'm gonna say that again. I think our culture exemplifies what other cultures want to be. Excuse me. I think our culture exemplifies what other cultures want to be, but they don't want to be what's exemplified as a culture. They want to be respectfully, individually judged, kind of sort of like how we feel as black people as our culture in America. And so the reason why I say that is because when we feel like we got killed one another and all that stuff and we can't disagree, that means we don't know how to disagree. That means we don't know how to um, even fight. That's why I don't think there's anything wrong with fighting, as long as y'all can get up, shake hands, and say, "All right,
But
you know what I'm saying? We good." But now, no, it's like it's never going fighting
we're
is
not
never going to
being
solve the issue.
but we're not being taught to deal with our emotions. Do you kind of say I haven't been taught to deal with my emotions. I can't teach you to deal with your emotions. You can't teach your children to deal with your emotions. Everyone keep running to a therapist. That's not designed. We have to Our parents have to understand so our parents can teach the children, but our parents don't know. Do you kind of see how I said? And our black folks are not white. White people can't teach black people to deal with it. We have to understand, as black men, we have to teach black men to deal emotionally. Seriously, we have got to understand each other. We do. That's why I understand when we say this is deep. Black men have got to understand black men. Understandable. And we'll be blessed to be black men. When God did make a mistake to choose for you to be a black man. So you are blessed to be a black man. You need to understand what being a black man is. It's not by mistake. So don't change who we are. Understand who we are. Teach who we are. Stop. But we're against each other, which has got to stop. You see?
I'm gonna go ahead and clap that up. Number
Has
one, I'm
to.
gonna clap that up.
And we need a platform to understand who we are and grow together. And a platform like this is Be More for Real. We're going to continue to be for real.
I mean, we can continue to be for real, and I mean, on a for real level, at what point do is the line between holding a man accountable and actually encouraging a man to do better with his decisions? Because a lot of times, men, and it's not just black men, but men in general are just being beaten down. You're inadequate of a man if you don't even have these certain physical features. If you're not tall enough, make enough physical money, liquid cash, stuff like that, automatically disqualifies you from a lot of uh, the high status, social economical, wealthiest people in that whole regime and that whole, what do you call that? When a person is on a certain level, they call it something real unique, and it's a very special name, but it's really not that special. Oh, they call it echelons. When you're in them upper echelons of things, you know, they start to treat you different and everything like that. And my thing is that people get so far detached when they're in those upper echelons that they have created their own realm of superiority outside of the racial tensions that's in America. And I'm gonna say that again. I think that because of that social economic disparity, that they have created their own sort of social economical class that has nothing to do with racism, and that's how they can argue the point that it's no longer black or white. It's a classism thing. It's about the haves and the have-nots. Either you got it or you don't got it. And I know that's not proper English or whatever you want to call proper English, but it's either you got it or you don't got it. It's a social economical thing, and while that is true, two things can be true at the same time, because there can be a racial divide um based off of racial disparities, and then there can also be a social economical divide at the same time that divides people based off of their tax bracket, essentially.
But people, all right, listen to this. Let me make this absolutely clear. People with a lot aren't always happy. People with very little aren't always not happy. These are true facts. Because you got a lot, that means your bills are paid, but that doesn't mean you are happy. Look at these very successful people, children. They are so messed up and unhappy. Look at some of these people who have very little children. They turn out to be very successful. I'm telling you,
Right.
that has nothing to do with it. It's the inside, not the materialistic things. We have got to understand that. You really need to People need to go to God and see what they really truly are made of. This is when I tell people all the time, you need to go to God, not to people, not to man, not to human being. Go to God and find out who you really are. When you go to God, you find out what you made of. Then you will
Well,
be happy.
well, I see when people say that, right? It sounds so good to me. It really does. Like
Because it's true.
that sounds so good to me. But like,
You got to go to God.
there's already a book, and people will say this book is controversial as well, and that's why part of the segment is the controversy continues because the Bible does tell us who we are, and we still have people ignorant. And that's why we are divided. We are divided at so many levels. But a lot of the reason that we are divided is because we don't know who we were before we were brought over here as slaves. And regardless of whether or not the government, the churches, or whatever want to tell you, you know what I'm saying? The truth is in the book. The truth is in the Bible, and they don't want to tell you that. And that's why, in order, if you was a slave and you learn how to read and write, they considered you a threat. So then
But
we have fast forward to today, where our people choose not to read and write. They think that they don't have to read or write, and I think this
but
is
you
why
don't.
I think this is what trips us up
But Daniel, as
as
Leah
the people. We're
61, you don't
so
have to read and
ignorant,
write. First of all,
willfully ignorant at that.
but you weren't born over here as a slave. You weren't.
Okay, so
And these are true facts.
that's a
You weren't.
that's a fact. I wasn't around for slavery,
Maybe
right?
your
Right.
ancestors were, but you weren't.
Right. Which is why I was
So
bringing up the point about genetic information, because genetic information is passed through your genes. Imagine if for centuries you were beaten by the way that you were treated and talked to another race of individuals. You would look at them a total different way. It will already be ingrained in you from a youth not to play around with certain stuff like that. And we know that because look,
just
we killed each other before we even go think about killing the system that's against us. We will kill each other before we think about killing a system that's against us. I'm
right
gonna say
now,
that one
that's
more time. We would think
true
about
fact.
killing each other before the system that's against us. Why?
Now
Because we
that's
know about bucking against the system. We know what happened to the last true Negroes who really tried to stand up. Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, all of them. We know what happened with them. Huey P. Newton. We already knew what we already know.
we doing what everyone else. We're doing what's the rest doing. We're falling right in line. We're doing what everyone else doing. That's what we're doing. Because when you say you're not, you are. Let's say you decide to go out and get a chicken box. Let's say you out getting a chicken box. This is what I'm saying. You falling in line. You out getting a chicken box. You looking at the menu. Someone comes right behind you. They looking at the menu too. He's having a nasty day. He's beefing with his girlfriend. You looking at the chicken box and he looking at it too. And you just happen to bump into him and he's nasty with his girlfriend. But he got a tool on him and you bump into him. And that's exactly what he wants. He say something to him and are you not going to reply to him? Do you see what I mean? The next thing you know, you in the middle of the mix.
I see how that is,
See?
and that point is so true. But I don't think that, and see, I'm a black male, so it's hard for me not to advocate for the black males. I'm a black father as well, you know what I'm saying? So it's hard to not advocate for the black fathers and try to. First of all, I'm gonna just say that there is no excuse for wrongdoing. That I will say, no excuse. But there is underlying symptoms and causes to where things are. Science says for every action there's an equal or opposite reaction. That's what I was telling you about generational information. The fact that we have been grown up in these environments, they have done experiments like with the Rat King experiment when they had the rats that had to fend for food versus the rats that had plenty of food. Rats never even thought about killing each other to begin with. But the rats that were scarce for food, only one will come out victorious. They had murder on their mind because everybody was
Next
trying to
thing you
eat
know,
the
right.
same little bit of scraps. So we know what's going on. I mean, like it's 2024, and we more than halfway through 2024 now. So I mean, the fact that we know this information and we turn a blind eye to it is this is not the time to do that as black people, and that will bring us back to the full surface of when we were talking about the presidential election with Kamala Harris and Donald Trump. See, now we have individuals that just want to vote for Kamala Harris
There
just
we
because she
go.
identifies as black and claims herself to be black,
And want us to just vote for anyone
notice-
just because.
Notice the deception though. Look at how they get us every time. I mean, like every time it's just right there in front of our faces for us to see, and yet we do nothing about it. That's just showing them that we are weak. Every time, look, there's multiple instances in this last week where the police then killed people, where these people then called the police for help. I'm telling you, our people, they don't do this. Let me ask you a question. And I really want people to think about this. Let me ask you a question. When have you ever seen an unarmed Asian person gunned down in the streets of America? Go.
You don't see it. You just don't. You know you don't.
Oh, you ain't see it? What about unarmed Jewish person?
You don't. You definitely know you ain't.
We got a whole Jewtown here.
Absolutely know you're not gonna see.
Why don't they?
You know.
Why aren't they being unjustly and unfairly untreated? And they are the minority of minorities. They are less than black folk in Baltimore City and in New York.
And let me tell you another thing too. I've been watching the show called On Patrol. It's a show that comes on called On Patrol.
Oh, one second. BMore4Real. Hey, he said, hello, fam. BMore4Real. He said, show looks good. He said, hey, is good. BMore4Real is in there. Appreciate you guys, man.
We will be there shortly.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. It's long overdue. It's long overdue.
There's a show on that's called On Patrol. And watch how they got different police departments, and you see how the police department stops and do a search and seize and police, and you watch how they pull over white folks versus black folks.
Right.
And you watch how when they pull over the white folks, how white people can do the extra or things that they do, and they go up and beyond the call of duty, not to really, you know what I mean,
right.
kill
right.
them.
Right.
And the smallest thing that the black person do, they are on them. And I'm thinking sooner or later they'll realize with enough footage that they have that they will see the injustice that they do to us. They will catch on.
This is what I would say though too. That's what I was saying because I want to wake the people up. It's time to wake up, right?
Yes, you would think because that they will catch on.
There was a guy that ran into a hotel. He was having a mental issue or something like that. Maybe he had a mental breakdown. I think this was maybe in Illinois or something. I'm not sure, but it wasn't. It was in another state, right? And his brother ran for help, and he ran into a hotel. And he wound up getting strangled to death, kind of sort of like how Mike Brown was with the knee to his neck. You know what I'm saying? Over the loose cigarette. So it was kind of sort of that same situation. But what blows me is that those officers was black, just like the 6 officers who was accused of killing Freddie Gray, black as well. So it's not really a black or white thing when it comes to the police officers, although they're all racist police officers. That's a problem within a problem. But the biggest problem is the policies and procedures on what they have to police us. That's the biggest problem, because if this is the outcome that black men are incarcerated and 6 times more likely to be incarcerated than any other race, and with the same penalty as a white man, then they're given 3 times as much harsh sentences for the same crime as another white man. Now we got to look at who the hell is making these laws, or at the very least, we got to look at who is teaching these people how to enforce these laws on the people. Like, what is their policy on policing people? Because I'm starting to think that over and over again that these policies are still made to police us. And it's not a huge wonder, because we already know that policing came from slave catchers. So how far are we removed from slave catching to policing to actual policemen like they give us the illusion of is my question. And remember, this program is made to deprogram you to what you've been programmed to.
There you go. That makes sense. See, you have to understand what a policeman is. They're a slave patrol. These are true facts. So when you all don't make any changes, you all don't fight no laws, you all don't make no policy changes, you all don't do any of that. You all just sit around and do nothing. That's why it's the way it is. And when okay, I'm now Uncle Wayne, and I get upset when we make these segments and people say we need to fall in line behind Harris because she's the next president and we don't want Trump to get in. Listen, we are entitled because the next president of this United States need to make us important. Find out the things we want and make some changes. And now they're saying, oh, the black man have a problem with a black woman. That's what they're saying now. That stuff wears me thin. And
Oh, that's the biggest wage factor, and
that's
that's why I'm ultra glad. I'm ultra glad that that the Most High has given me a chance to really be there for my family. You know what I'm saying? Because it's hard, and Satan is really trying to break the family
that's
up
exactly what he's
in
doing.
the households, and he's been trying to do that since the '60s, and now it's really hitting the fan with all the social media influences and the influencers on different positions about life. But the truth of the matter, and to be more for real, is that we all really need each other, and that's why we can't look. The enemy already know divide and conquer. A house divided against itself will not stand. See, even though we could be divided on personal levels, like my brothers used to say, my grandmother, because she died before I was born. My brothers used to say, my grandmother used to always say, don't air your dirty laundry out in the street. Yeah, y'all might have got problems in the house, but when you take your problems outside and you show the world your problems, you better not do that. You make yourself look like a fool. You make the whole household look like a fool. Like now you fighting each other in the street. Like y'all, it's cool to fight in the house, but when you go out there into the world, y'all better act like the best of god daggone friends. Better not, nobody better not be able to say nothing to nobody because that's still your brother, sister, cousin, whatever the case may be. And y'all still better act like family when y'all go out there.
Daquan. That's what it was.
I'm
But
gonna go ahead and
but
clap that. We're gonna go ahead and clap that up. We
absolutely certain decorum. That's what it is. But God has a certain design. Whether you like it or not, it's a design. God is my boss. I don't answer to humans. Whether you like it or not, I really could care less. I used to answer to man. It put me in my grave repeatedly. My family, my friends, so-called people that you swear love you, the churches, the religion, all that. They will put you in your grave. That if you try to follow them, you will be in your grave. Church folks are the main ones. You will be in your grave. Listen, I listen to God, so I could care less. It is not by design. You all, it is time for you all. I'm telling you to change the family dynamics. Man's supposed to lead the family. The woman will follow if the man will lead, but the woman is not
well,
going to lead over the mountain.
I'm gonna tell you this though too, because I'm glad you brought up church too, because I'm not gonna sit here and bash the churches and be like,
Bash
oh,
the churches.
and be like,
Jesus Christ already smacked the
I'm,
stuff around. What do you mean
I,
bash the churches?
he went and whipped people out the
Okay,
temple.
what are you just saying?
So I'm not,
What is
I'm
the
not, I'm
temple?
not gonna bash
Temple
the
is
church,
the
but this is what
church.
I will say. I just wish the
Come on
church,
now.
I just wish the churches would stop pandering to the people, and that's the reason why it has lost its power. You understand what I'm saying? The churches
Right.
actually remind me of Negroes, and what a coincidence that these people are in the Bible, but it actually reminds me of Negroes. And let me tell you why.
God's
Because the
not playing
church, the
anymore.
church is so divided in the South. I'm apostolic. I'm Pentecostal. I'm
Right.
Lutheran. I'm Episcopal AME. I'm African American Methodist, whatever the case may be. I'm Catholic. I'm
I,
Ethiopian
I'm full
Orthodox.
of it. That's what I am.
I'm this, that, and the third. It's over
Church, full
four
of it.
thousand five hundred sects
Full
of
of it.
Christianity and all this other stuff.
Full of it.
But if the churches would teach the truth, though,
They don't even know
and
the
it's
truth.
2024. It's
How can the
2024.
church watch this? How can the church teach something it doesn't know?
I'm about to say something real
It's the
controversial
facts.
because, like I said, the controversy still continues. I'm about to, if the church don't stop perpetuating this white Jesus image when we know Jesus wasn't white, when we know that the people in the book wasn't white, when we know that the people in the book didn't do a lot of things that the people in the land do today. So the fact that the church is still perpetuating and still putting on this image, that's my problem with the church. You know what I'm saying? The whole concept of it, yeah, they got a form of godliness, but it's like the power that's there is lacking. So that's what I would say. But I wouldn't say I would. I'm not gonna just sit up here and bash the churches, but the churches act like Negroes because even though we come from different backgrounds, it's like we can't agree. And I would just tell you that other nations they don't even operate like that because that's why I've been saying this for a long time too. Let's just look at the other races and how they operate. Look at the Asian people, right? We all say they Chinese, but this man from Indonesia, this man from Thailand, this man is from Japan or whatever. We all look at them like they are the same. We all just say they Chinese, not knowing the damn difference. And there is a difference. Of course, there's a difference, but we don't even look at it. And yes, even us black people too. And I mean, if you want to say it's racist, okay, but really it's not. It's like prejudice. Uh, we'll get into that more, but yeah, I mean, everybody has those type of prejudice. So just like all black people look the same to any other race, we all look the same to them. We got dreads, bald head. We all look the same to them.
I still don't believe that.
We do.
But when it gets to churches, churches has to belong to God. Whenever church remember or church folks remember that church belongs to God, then we can get back to where it belongs. Church has been scattered around and so infected, and when these pastors or these leaders thinking the church belongs to them or the church belongs to the pastors, that's when you get so far gone. You gotta understand it belongs to God. The church has got to belong to God. God has to lead the church. This is what I'm telling you. That's why a lot of people has been hurt and scattered around. I tell you this all the time. I told you I'm on Penn North. I see where these people get high. I told you. Ask almost every last one of them have been to the church. Seriously. Why you think they all out there? See, listen, I told you who my boss is. My boss is God.
I mean, a lot. I look on the other side because I got to finish. A lot of people
Gotta be for real.
A lot of people church. A lot of people hurt don't come from the church. It don't. The church didn't hurt you. Your folks and your relatives, those people hurted you. And some people do have that church hurt. We're not saying that people don't carry that church hurt. Absolutely not what I'm saying. But most people hurt don't come from the church. So I mean,
ask them,
I
sir.
think that's part of the problem. We can't cancel each. We can't counsel each other like that. You know what I'm saying? Because
I don't cancel them. They did.
We can't counsel each other like that because the platform is not open enough to have those discussions. It's just like going to a college and asking a damn professor, well, why are you teaching us this instead of that? They're going to look at you like you got 5 or 10 heads. Like, what do you mean? Why are you questioning the professor on what the professor is teaching?
Not me,
like,
sir.
Can you really go
not
there
me.
and question them on what they're teaching you? And so this is often our issue as Americans and all stuff. We do a lot of stuff without question. We just tend to believe people, and that goes along with science. And like I said, this program is made to deprogram you to what you've been programmed to. It's just like science, right?
Got to keep it real.
So they say, correct me if I'm wrong, but the CDC or whoever, it's a governmental site that says that if science says something is true, 80 to 85% of the public is generally going to believe that as true. For instance, let's just say that they say we all got to get this shot and this shot going to help you live or whatever, just whatever the case. 80, 85% of the public.
Well, they actually just did that.
Okay, so you get what I'm saying without trying to tick some people off, you know what I'm saying, without trying to get canceled. You feel what I'm saying? So when science says that, this is generally true, then 80 to 85% of the general public will generally think that statement is true. So without question, without doing any research of themselves. So people, what they say is people are sheeple. It's the same thing with the gospel. It's the same thing with the churches. 90% of these people, they just believe what the pastor say without actually having to do the research and digging in the Bible and doing the studies yourself. Line upon line, precept upon precept. Going to this doctor, that doctor, the same thing. Learning how to apply because, look,
it's Satan
knowing
manipulation.
Is half the battle. We can know something, but if you really don't apply it, how could you say you really know it.
Now that you said that, that's manipulation.
Exactly.
That is amazing.
It's
That's
propaganda. That's why I was saying that people have been propaganda. That's why we keep voting Democrat. That's why it's
that's
just
amazing.
it's automatically assumed that Kamala Harris gonna get the black vote. And what is she gonna do for the black people? It's even it look, we gotta sit down with these people. I don't give a hell Trump or Kamala. I don't care who it is.
Well, we gotta get
when
to know
are we
her.
gonna sit down with these people as a people and say, look, this is what we demand.
To know her. Just if she's going to be the president of the United States, we have got to get to know her as well. That's fair. That's fair. I'm sorry, I just don't.
But we have to know those policies and procedures before she gets the majority of the population of our population vote.
And I still ask people on a regular basis too. I still don't know her policy procedures. I just don't know what she believes in. I still don't know what she's pushing. I know is it still as Biden? She says she's not as close as Biden. So if she want to separate herself, what does she believe in? What is she pushing? I want to know.
I'm gonna say this on the BMore4Real level.
She says she's not doing anything just for blacks.
This what
she
I
made
would love
that
to
clear.
See. This what I would love to see from this presidential election going forward, because the last few have been a mess, including the one with Obama. Because they was going after his birth certificates and all that other stuff, saying he wasn't born in Hawaii, he was born in Kenya, and all this other stuff. This is what I would like to see, and I would like to see this not only being done with the presidential election, but with people going forward. When somebody is saying something and they try to attack a person's character, instead of dealing with what's being said, look at them with the side eye. Red flags should already go off. Because instead of dealing with what's being said, they try to divert you onto another path. Okay. So whether Obama was born in Mexico, Kenya, Hawaii, or whatever, is his policies and procedures right and proper for black people? That's the freaking question we should be asking. What the hell does him being born in wherever the bum the hell, what does that have to do with him and his policies and procedures as a person?
Love it.
So
that was so well said.
They call that ad hominems.
That was so well said.
They call it ad hominems. And so this is what the presidential election has been doing too, because Kamala Harris, she's been calling Joe Biden racist before they jumped on the same bandwagon. Really? She was calling Joe Biden racist and all this other crazy stuff. And just like they doing now, like Trump is saying, well, when did Kamala start claiming to be black? And she's like, Trump, well, you a felon and a criminal. Like, yo, what the hell does that have to do with your policies and procedures for the country? They are literally trying to attack each other's character and not judging each other based on the content of the policies and procedures that they want to impose on the people.
And this is the thing. You're getting upset. That was deep. You need to give yourself an applause for that. And this is what we want to see. And you get upset because we had, and people get upset with this too. But Barack Obama, I told you, with the comments too, when I said for 2 terms with Barack Obama, what the hell did he do for us? You get upset with it. He looked good in the suit. He was a good-looking black man. People get sad, yes. But what the hell did he do for us? 2 terms as a black president. 2 terms. You know what I'm saying? And I went to college during the time that he was president too, because the first term he was in too. I was cheering him up, fighting for him too, standing up for him too. Second term he was in there. I'm like, give him a second term. Standing up for him too. The second term too, I was battling down for 2. But at the second term he was in there, I follow all the way down. Nothing. He done nothing. Nothing. This man was embarrassed. He was embarrassed for blacks. He really was. He never stood up and fought nothing. Nothing. But no one wants to stand up and say he didn't. But they want to stand up because he looked good in a suit. He never cheated on his wife. They want those kind of things. They don't care that he didn't do anything for us. You see, this is us as blacks. We treat our politicians like we do our church folks.
Right.
That's why it makes me sick. They like popularity. They don't care that it's not effective. You know what I'm saying? Not productive. I want somebody effective and productive. You know what I mean? I don't care how well you look in a suit. I don't care about your what you and your wife going through. That's personal. I could care less about that. It's none of my business. I want to care how productive and effective you are. Just like you said, your policies and procedures.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Your
Right.
rules and regulations, the
Right.
things you have done.
Absolutely.
You know, your work procedures. Those the things I want to know. Those the things that we care about. That's what we elected you for. You understand? But I saw none of that. And here we go. We can ready to elect someone else in there just because they are black.
Exactly.
And if for
Exactly.
what?
And without and this is that's exact. I'm so glad you mentioned that because I want to piggyback off of that. And that's what I was saying. They just know they're gonna get our vote, right? The Democrats.
Just
But check this out.
because.
Check this out. I'm gonna spin it even a little bit further, right? For now on, for the most part, you don't get the right to complain about something you ain't did nothing about. Us as black people, you don't get the right to complain about something you did nothing about. How you gonna complain about the police officers killing another person and all this other stuff? How you gonna complain about the mayor and the council people and all that stuff? You don't vote. You don't put none of them in office. You don't do nothing about that. Look, you hardly get the right to complain when you don't consume and you're not a person that didn't delve into these subjects. We got too many people giving inputs on something they do nothing about and something that they don't care to do nothing about. It's too many people that have opinions about something that they're willing to do nothing about. And their opinions hold more weight than the people that have been really in the mud and have been grinding by the sweat of their brow with the blood, sweat, and tears that it takes to get something done just for somebody that never really been through the mess, that never really want to do anything about the mess, to have them have a say so just because it sound better, you look better, or you got more money than another person and could be in a better position for people to endorse you. Like, no, that stuff get cut down here. I don't care almost any subject that you name or whatever. You don't get the right to complain if you're not a consumer, if you have not done any of the work to try to facilitate change. You don't get a right to complain. Who are you to complain about who's going to be the next president or what the president does, you never even voted for president? Do you not get it? That's my solution. That's what I would say.
Go for it. And this is what I'm saying. Listen, you all, we are important. We got it's our future. We gotta make a difference. We do. Listen, we live every day. It's our family, it's our friends, it's our difference. We gotta make a difference. We gotta sit around and not say anything. We supposed to accept anything just because. What kind of difference it make? And us black men out there, yes, we do make a difference. Yes, we do. We better stand up and make a difference. That's why when you arguing now and you don't have any power, that's why. That's why. And picking up the phone 911 and then it's another thing too. You know your name not on nothing, not on the lease. You don't have the insurance, don't have the license, don't have anything. That's why when you don't feel that you have no foundation, that's why. That's exactly why, because you're not standing up for anything, because these reasons why. I'm Uncle Wayne. I'm trying to show you how it is. Step one, stand up. This is the reason why we BMore4Real. We're trying to get you to stand up. God created you for a reason. When God said you were a black man, it was a reason. Stand up and be who God created you to be.
It's a reason, and we're gonna clap that up. We're gonna go ahead and clap that up, big time, big time. It's a reason why we feel inadequate and we have inadequacies. And a lot of times people project their inadequacies on other people in hopes that they will feel somehow exalted or lifted up and high and mighty above themselves by putting somebody down, by belittling. That's often a psychology trait. You know what I'm saying? People think that they're above other people just to make themselves feel above
Satan
other people.
manipulation. Remember we just talked about that?
Right. It's a psychological thing.
Satan manipulation.
It's a psychological thing. But when we start to look at we are all human and we start not to divide ourselves based off of certain things first, then we can start to grow. See, the problem is we box ourselves in too early and we start to name ourselves on something that we wasn't even called to be. So like I'm gonna give you a personal instance on mine. Like if you would have told me 2-3 years ago that I would have been DJing and doing what I'm doing now, I would have called you a liar, right? And if you just say, "Oh, you need a DJ, this is what you need to do. You need to go ahead and do this or whatever that you're doing now." You know what I'm saying? Or a podcast. Because 3 years ago, I didn't have a podcast either. You understand what I'm saying? You need to do that again, or whatever. If you would have told me that, I'd have called you a liar. But the thing is, our plans for ourselves sometimes might not, fit inside of what God has for us, and sometimes we got to get it how we live. And so, I said that to say this: we are all inadequate in certain type of ways, but it's not about our inadequacies and seeking out other people's inadequacies and what they are not substantial at. It's not about any of that. What will make you feel better about yourself? None of that stuff is going to make you feel better about yourself. What's going to make you feel better about yourself is when you start to change yourself. When you start to be the change that you want to see, then that will eventually trickle down into everybody else. But most importantly, it will trickle down to you because you are the change that you want to see, not having other people do what you want to do and spoon feed you. Anything that's of value is worth working for. Success is not going to happen overnight. We got to get this make believe stuff out of our minds. See, society is trying to engineer us that all this stuff happens overnight and that we just all going to be successful. No, when you got to grind, you got to grind, you got to scrape, you got to crawl, you going to get scratched up, all that stuff over stuff that you really want, anything that's valuable. They're not telling us that, but that's the absolute truth. We've been grinding, we've been hustling this long on the podcast each and every single Wednesday with you guys. Trust me, it's not easy to come here each and every single Wednesday to do this stuff. It's a lot of stuff that got to happen just to make this stuff happen each and every single Wednesday. But we don't complain or about it. We get up and we make it happen, and we hope that you guys make the same thing happen. Don't let nobody else inadequacies make you feel like you better than them, because they are better than you in other areas where you inadequate at as well. So don't ever think you better than somebody else because you see flaws in them that you don't have, because you definitely got flaws in you that they don't have as well. And it don't matter who that person is.
Man, that was deep, dang. Hey, that was BMore4Real. I didn't expect that to come from him tonight, y'all. But well, I don't know, but it's a Dave's mother turned into the mother of his son. You know what I mean? Has changed this man, yeah.
BMore Pod, he said,
growth.
Do we have an option for president? Either one is giving us he said, do we have an option for president? Either one is giving us a plan. Um, we we have the two options. They provide us with the two options. I believe I gave the alternative to what we have to do if we don't like either option as president. As president,
I didn't hear the question.
He said, "Do we have an option for president? Either one is giving us a plan."
Any option? What's the question again? I'm sorry, BMore Pod. I didn't.
Do we have an option for president? Either one is giving up. Neither one. I guess neither one is giving us a plan.
But you know what? Honestly, listen.
Okay, so hold on.
Let me tell you something. Trump, listen, and hear me out. There's some things that Trump's saying. I can't disagree with a lot of stuff he's saying. The FBI need to be ripped down to shreds. The stuff that he's saying, I can agree with some of the stuff, like the school system. He's talking about turning it down to shreds. A lot of stuff that he's saying. If a black man was saying a lot of stuff that Trump was saying, just to think about it. He's saying a lot of the FBI, the CIA, and the school system. I'm telling you, the school. Listen to that 2025. You don't want to get behind. A lot of that stuff need to be done. And he said, and I don't mean any harm. This welfare system thing need to be torn after a certain time. Need to be torn. The only thing about it is we need something else to let me see, to fall back on. We need, like I said, a massive trade school overhaul. We need, something to counterhaul that. Do you kind of see? Okay. We need something to counterhaul.
And I see what he was asking as well. He's saying neither one of us. And I did last week, towards the end of the show too, I was telling you the other alternative options we have. Like, we can literally list somebody else on the ballot if we don't like either option as president. We can do things such as that, and we can do things such as not vote at all and just vote on a local and state level and have them represent us as well. There's a plethora of different options that we do have if we don't like either candidate, but it is set up so hard to not pick either a candidate or a Republican or Democrat because that's the way that the United States system is set up. Now, one thing that's that I want to stick out to the people, um, like I said, the Democratic Party has gotten a black vote since the 1960s. And no, this is not an endorsement for the Republican Party or Trump at all. It's just an eye-opening moment for us to realize as black people what's going on. In case you didn't know, so it says black. The question was how long have black people been voting Democrat? That was the question. And it says black Americans have predominantly supported the Democratic Party since the mid 20th century, a significant shift that began in the 1930s and solidified in the 1960s. Key points in the shifts. In the 1930s, the New Deal era, the shift began with President Franklin Delano Roosevelt New Deal policies during the Great Depression. Although many black voters were still disenfranchised in the South, those who could vote began to support the Democratic Party because of the economic relief and social welfare programs that benefited many poor and working class Americans, including the black communities. In the 1940s through the 1950s, the shift continued as the Democratic Party, particularly under President Harry S. Truman, began to advocate for civil rights. Truman's desegregation of the armed forces and the inclusion of civil rights in the Democratic platform in 1948 further attracted black voters. Then, in the 1960s, the civil rights movement. The most significant and lasting shift occurred in the 1960s, especially with the Civil Rights Act of 1964 and the Voting Rights Act of 1965, both supported by Democratic President Lyndon B. Johnson. Johnson's strong advocacy for civil rights legislation solidified the black support for the Democratic Party in the 1960s. And as of the 1960s, the Democratic national elections have been reaching an all-time high of 90% in some of the presidential elections as the trends continue throughout the present day. Wow, so they get 90% of our vote throughout
They
this
always
present
did
day.
because of that. But back to this. Some of Trump, some of his policies and procedures, and some of his beliefs, I like. I don't know if they're his or just the Republicans, but I'm serious. They make more sense. If a black man was running on some of his policies, they would really be enlightening. Think about it. Just think about some of his policies that he will run on. So if
I mean,
but
that's a great
but we
point.
look at Trump as the worst one in the world, but his policies aren't all bad. They aren't all bad.
And so this be more for real though. I want the people to realize that, this we're black, so we're gonna talk about a lot of black issues, but we're also going to talk about a lot of the American issues because we're in America as well. So I remember we were talking about this, and I think it's a good time to bring this up on the show as well while we're bringing up all of these facts and data. I ain't gonna be before you long, but the question was, what are the top
Hey,
10
yeah.
poorest states in America? The top 10 poorest states in America: number one, Mississippi; number two, West Virginia; number three, Louisiana; number four,
Oh
Arkansas;
yeah. Oh yeah.
number five, New Mexico; number six, Alabama; number seven, Kentucky; number eight, South Carolina; number nine, Oklahoma; number 10, Tennessee. These states often rank lower in terms of their economic indicators, such as the median household income, GDP per capita, and higher poverty rates. The rankings can vary slightly depending on specific metrics and the time frame used. And so the next question that was asked is, what are these states' predominant vote as far as Democrat or Republican? And now here's the breakdown of the predominant political leanings of the 10 poor states.
Poise.
These are the 10 predominant public leanings. Number one, Mississippi, predominantly Republican. Number two, West Virginia, predominantly Republican. Louisiana, number three, predominantly Republican with some Democratic influence in urban areas. Number four, Arkansas, predominantly Republican. Number five, New Mexico, predominantly Democratic. Number six, Alabama, predominantly Republican. Number seven, Kentucky, Republican. South Carolina, number 8, Republican. Number 9, Oklahoma, Republican. Number 10, Tennessee, Republican. Most of these states have consistently voted Republican in recent presidential elections, with the exception of New Mexico, which leans Democratic. Some states like Louisiana have areas that may lean Democratic, but particularly in the urban areas. But overall, the entire state vote is Republican at the state level. Now, on the flip side, what are the 10 wealthiest states in America, and
Wealthiest.
what is their state level vote? Here are the 10 wealthiest states in America based on the median household income along with their predominant state level vote. Number 1, Maryland, predominantly Democratic. Number 2, Massachusetts, predominantly Democratic. Number 3, New Jersey, predominantly Democratic. Number 4, Hawaii, Democratic. Number 5, California, Democratic. Number 6, Connecticut, Democratic. Number 7, Washington, Democratic. Number 8, New Hampshire, Democratic with some Republican influence in the state and local elections. Number 9, Colorado, Democratic. Number 10, Virginia, Democratic with Republican influence in certain regions. So the reason why I brought up this information for you guys to see is because we be more for real. So while we talking about Democrat and Republican, the Republicans, they have good values. The top 10 poorest states in the United States, 9 out of 10 of them have voted Republican at the state level. Then when you look at the 10 wealthiest states in America, 10 out of 10 of them have voted Democratic at the state level. So that's a very interesting dynamic. But when you talk about the most violent cities and all that stuff with Democratic ran, we just want to get it out there to the people because
Right.
we need a Democratic or Republican. None of that. What are they doing for the people? We are for the
But
people.
but
For
look
real.
at look at amazing that they are the wealthiest state. They're Democratic, wealthiest state, and look at the cities though. Did you see
Right.
the cities?
Right.
You had noticed that they are wealthiest states, but look at the cities. They're the worst cities ever, but they're the wealthiest states. You understand?
Right.
Did you see them? You want to read them again because they went over your head. Listen, read the wealthiest states again. See, you all don't pay attention to this. Do you understand? How is this possible?
The 10 wealthiest states in America, numbered from 1 to 10. Number 1 is Maryland, 2, Massachusetts, 3, New Jersey, 4, Hawaii, 5, California, 6, Connecticut, 7, Washington, 8, New Hampshire, Colorado, number 9, number 10, Virginia. These states have a higher median household income and tend to lean Democratic at the state level and federal elections, particularly in recent years. However, there are regions within some of these states which have Republican influence, which is significant, especially in the rural or suburban
Amazing.
areas, but not at the state level.
And do you understand what I'm saying? That's why I said we influence them more than you think. But you know what? That's why I said, Daniel, if I was taught better, we could have done better. That's why I said, hopefully, my teacher would teach you, so you gotta teach them.
Absolutely. And we just want to present the facts. Like we said, we don't
No,
care if they
present the
Republican,
facts.
Democratic,
Be more
Green
for
Party,
real,
Independent.
y'all.
We don't really care. As long as they have policies, rules, policies, procedures, and regulations that benefit us
Rules
and
and
the economy
regulations,
and the
policy
and
and
the well-being of
procedures.
us, like we can support that as a people. And it doesn't matter if you are Baptist, Apostolic, Muslim, Christian, Hindu. It don't matter if you atheist. It don't matter. Like all of that stuff can be broken down inside of the black community when we deal with each other for ourselves and not for the other nations to see. We can divide. We can further
Lead the church
we can
to
further
God,
do what we
y'all,
need
like
to
it's
do upon
supposed
that
to.
one, and we do it though. Look at the churches. This person apostolic Baptist, this person Kojic and Pentecostal. Like we already do that. Like why can't we do that as people is beyond me. And it's not a question. That's a rhetorical question. I already know why. Because the enemy come to divide and conquer. So now we're not blaming this stuff on the enemy anymore. We know the tricks and tools of the enemy. We got to get right as a people and learn to avoid the snares so that we may live and prosper. You know, there's a verse in the Bible that say, and I would tell people most importantly above all, the Bible say that if you will humble yourself and seek my face, then I will heal your land. So if our people will humble ourselves and we're coming to the Most High and abide by His laws, He will most certainly look out for our lands. He will most certainly heal our people.
Oh, that was deep. I wonder why we refuse to be humble. I wonder why we think and always needing somebody or something, but yet we think we all at the same time. Why is that? You understand?
Because we have reason to brag, but we don't have reason to be conceited. And I know there's songs that we have reason to brag. We could be proud of ourselves. We can get praised of ourselves, but there's no reason to be conceited because just like we gonna pump ourselves up, we gonna be brought down just like that. You know, Mike Tyson got knocked out by Buster Douglas. I mean,
Right?
he got knocked out by Buster Douglas, and Buster Douglas compared to
Shockingly.
Mike Tyson. I mean, it was a shocking fight. And you know what Buster Douglas said? He said, because he was on his way being knocked out too. Yeah, got knocked down. He said before his mama died, she said, "This is my son, and he gonna knock Mike Tyson out." So a lot of times it's the word that you speak. See, it was his mother. His mother told him, said before she died, that this my son. He's a professional boxer. One day he gonna knock Mike Tyson out, and Buster Douglas knocked Mike Tyson out,
Oh,
all
wow.
because
I didn't
his
know
mother
that.
said that. And so I wanted to say that too, like
Speak it.
what a mother says to her children, what a father says to his children, what a parent says to their children, what a teacher says to their children. That stuff matters to these children. Stop saying stuff to
Oh,
these
yeah.
children
I know. I
and calling them
definitely
stuff
believe
and
that.
saying that stuff, and because
I definitely
they can
believe that.
become that stuff eventually.
Believe
You know
that.
what I'm saying? We got to speak life
Believe
into
that.
these kids, speak life
That's
into
why I
these men.
believe that. That's why I believe in a support system. Remember, I said that a support system because if we had a positive support system in them children' lives, that's where they become more positive
Right.
instead of that negativity at all times.
Right.
Because them kids get nowadays they got nothing but negativity. Imagine the teacher and everybody else calling you stupid and dumb your whole existence.
Right.
It's
Right.
gonna amount to nothing. You stupid and dumb all the
Absolutely.
time. Parents
Absolutely.
calling you stupid and dumb. The teachers calling you stupid and dumb. And imagine they calling each other dumb and stupid all the time.
Mm-hmm. And imagine somebody keep telling you you ain't never gonna be nothing. You're gonna be
Yeah.
back here. You go to jail. They gonna be like, yo, you'll be back here. I mean, just imagine some of the stuff that you would think men get rejected and beat down so much. That's why they
Gotta stop.
the unalive rate for men is higher than women because it's
Of
just
course.
crazy. So if y'all
Of
hearing
course.
this, definitely for the men that's in your family, look out for them. Let them know that they're loved. Let the women know that they're loved too. Of course, they're
Yes.
not included, but especially the men. Let our men know that they are loved. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, though, it's Be More for Real. Look, we had a
Be
look,
more for
Be More for Real. The
real.
realest conversations on the net.
Y'all.
Take a second out to like the stream. We appreciate everybody that was here with us. Hit that like button real quick for us
Absolutely.
before you go.
Absolutely,
If this is your
y'all.
first time hearing us, hit that subscribe button. Come get your weekly dose of reality. We rated all for reality. It's Be More for Real, brought to you by
Be
way of
more
Real
for real,
Explosion.
y'all.
Man, I'm your co-host,
Thank
OMG
you,
Danny.
God. I am Uncle
And we
Wayne.
appreciate you guys for being with us. Keep it locked
Be
with us.
blessed, y'all.
Until next Wednesday. Let's go.
Till
Let's
next
get it.
Wednesday, y'all. Bye, bye, bye. Yeah. Yeah. You know what I'm like.